Imagine this, you're stuck in traffic that stretches for miles under the scorching Virginia sun, inching across the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, the only crossing between Norfolk and Hampton. Over 100,000 vehicles, commuters, port trucks, military convoys bottleneck daily. This isn't just congestion, it's a chokehold on Virginia's economy, safety, and growth. Let's get into the details of this massive transformation project that's turning this situation around. Decades of reliance on the original Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel left it increasingly unable to handle the region's swelling traffic. When the first two-lane structure opened in 1957 as a toll crossing between Norfolk and Hampton, it carried roughly 2,500 vehicles a day, far below its capacity. As the area boomed, a parallel tube was added in 1976, bringing the total to 4 lanes. By 2008, daily vehicle volumes surged to around 88,000 on average, with peak season traffic frequently exceeding 100,000, a dramatic overshoot of its 77,000 vehicle per day design limit. The result? Gridlock became the norm. Summer weekends saw backups stretching up to 6 miles, turning simple journeys into endurance tests. The consequences extended far beyond commuter frustration. Congested lanes impeded military mobilizations from Naval Station Norfolk, delayed freight moving through the Port of Virginia, and compromised hurricane evacuation routes, putting public safety at risk. Recognizing the critical need to double capacity, Virginia's transportation stakeholders, VDOT, the Hampton Roads Transportation Planning Organization, HRTPO, and the newly formed Hampton Roads Transportation Accountability Commission, HRTSC, embarked on a decades-long planning odyssey. Studies began as early as 1992, followed by major assessments in 1999, 2008, 2012, and 2016, all reinforcing one conclusion: only a massive expansion could break the chokehold. In 2016, these agencies voted unanimously to greenlight a bold plan, widening nearly 10 miles of I-64 and adding 2 new 2-lane bored tunnels under the harbor, effectively doubling capacity. Environmental approval followed in May 2017 with the Federal Highway Administration's Record of Decision in June. However, groundbreaking didn't happen until October 2020 when VDOT, alongside HRCP, the joint venture of Dragados USA, Flatiron, Vinci, and Doden Campanon Bernard, formally launched construction on what would become Virginia's largest ever highway project. With a total price tag approaching $3.9 billion, funding comes predominantly from HRTAC via regional sales and gas taxes, about 92%, bolstered by state funds, $308.5 million from VDOT programs, and nearly $345 million in federal contributions. A key component of this financial framework is a massive TIFIA loan. In September 2021, the U.S. Department of Transportation awarded up to $1.66 billion in TIFIA credit support, including $1.16 billion dedicated to the HRBT expansion itself, backed by a federal loan program for major infrastructure. This infusion reduces borrowing costs and accelerates the build, paving the way for toll-supported express lanes and long-term sustainability. Once completed, the expanded corridor will include 4 general-purpose lanes, 2 high-occupancy toll hot lanes, and part-time shoulder lanes, delivering both immediate congestion relief and future-ready flexibility. At the heart of this project is Mary, a marvel of German engineering. At 430 feet long and weighing 4,700 tons, Mary started life in hundreds of shipping crates, arriving on site and assembled by mid-2022. Beginning in April 2023 from South Island, Mary tunneled beneath the harbor at a pace of roughly 50 feet per day, installing 1,191 precast concrete rings to form the first 7,900-foot tunnel. Crews removed nearly 2 million cubic yards of spoil, and the receiving pit required a continuous 31-hour concrete pour involving 584 trucks to build a 9-foot-thick slab that resists buoyancy. When Mary's cutter head finally punched through the North Island headwall on April 17, 2024, it marked a historic milestone. Completed was the first fully bored tunnel in Virginia, one of only 3 such U.S. highway tunnels ever constructed. Witnesses describe a thunderous crack as the concrete yielded, water gushed, and an earth-shaking section of wall collapsed. Project director Ryan Banas compared its rarity to a moon landing, saying, "I think what we just heard was the boom heard round Hampton roads, a halfway point for us, echoing both technical achievement and community pride. But the breakthrough was merely step 1 of an engineering marathon." After completing the 8,000-foot run, Mary faced its greatest challenge yet, an unprecedented U.S. highway tunneling maneuver. The tunnel boring machines, 2,500-ton shield and cutter head needed to rotate 180 degrees within the confined North Island pit so it could bore back toward Norfolk. To accomplish this, engineers deployed a nitrogen skate system, an innovative approach that reduced friction enough to allow the massive machinery to pivot within mere hours. In under 12 hours, the shield completed the reversal, a U.S. record in highway tunneling. By October 2024, Mary was back in action for the second tunnel. Now carving beneath as much as 170 feet of water and sediment, the machine continues to push forward under precise control. Once boring concludes, crews will immediately begin installing critical systems, multi-directional ventilation shafts, LED lighting, internal emergency exits, drainage infrastructure, and concrete base slabs designed to support traffic flow and safety standards. However, the expansion exceeds the tunnel itself. Across a nearly 10-mile corridor of I-64, teams are rebuilding 5 major bridges, replacing 23 aging trestles, and elevating one bridge by up to 8 feet to cope with sea level rise and saltwater corrosion. Concurrently, a slurry treatment plant, the Catherine, named after NASA pioneer Katherine Johnson, is operating at scale. With 6 descending towers, 9 filter presses, and the capacity to process over 14,000 gallons per minute, it's one of North America's largest descending facilities. This system separates excavated material, recycles slurry, and generates compacted dirt cakes, all while enforcing environmental safeguards to protect marine habitat and reduce turbidity. Every step captures a balance between bold engineering and careful stewardship, where enormous machines meet ecological responsibility and structural resilience. The HRBT transformation is about more than doubling lanes. It's about building an infrastructure legacy equipped for the realities of rising seas, heavy traffic, and the future of Hampton roads. When construction began, the economic engines roared to life. From 2019 to 2025, direct on-site spending in Hampton roads reached approximately $2.9 billion, fueling a cascade of growth throughout the region. According to VDOT's 2019 impact study, this spending generated an additional $899 million in indirect effects, such as supplier contracts, trucks, and engineering services, and another $865 million in induced effects, driven by wages circulating in local businesses. Together, it created nearly 29,000 cumulative jobs, about 16,000 direct, 5,700 indirect, and 7,100 induced, and produced a total regional economic impact of $4.63 billion through early 2025. These figures are more than abstract numbers. They represent real families supported in construction, retail, health, and professional sectors. With every construction worker, trucker, engineer, or restaurant employee on payroll, economic activity multiplied, promoting growth well beyond the tunnel walls. The project's output multiplier of 0.62 meant that every dollar spent added an extra 62 cents to the region's economy, while each construction job supported nearly one additional position. Once the final segment is put in place, drivers will glide through a completely reimagined corridor, 3 lanes in each direction under the water, comprising 4 general-purpose lanes and 2 high-occupancy toll hot lanes, alongside shoulder lanes that flex with traffic needs. Above ground, 8 continuous lanes span the harbor, delivering smoother, more efficient commutes. The express lanes will also unlock a funding legacy as toll revenue is reinvested into future infrastructure improvements. Yet, even powerhouse projects face challenges, and the HRBT expansion saw its share. The original completion deadline was slated for November 2025, but the pandemic lockdowns, global supply chain disruptions, shifting geotechnical conditions, and complexities of marine construction collectively extended the timeline by approximately 18 months. In response, VDOT's comprehensive agreement with the Hampton Roads Connector partners was amended, shifting substantial completion to February 26, 2027, with final completion set for August 27, 2027, though the contractor still pursues a $90 million early completion incentive for wrapping up by September 2026. Importantly, these schedule modifications did not inflate costs. VDOT and project partners restructured the contract to absorb delays without exceeding the original $3.9 billion budget, demonstrating a proactive balance of ambition and fiscal oversight. Looking forward, once boring finishes later this year, the project will shift into high gear. Hybrid systems work is ramping up, including ventilation fans, LED lighting, emergency egress corridors, drainage systems, and the base concrete roadway. Tolling infrastructure for the express lanes is being installed, while staged opening plans are primed to safely redirect traffic flows before integrating the old and new lanes. By 2027, the Hampton Roads corridor will be utterly transformed. 8 full lanes across the water, cutting-edge safety systems, and climate-smart design built to resist storm surges and rising seas. The economic returns will extend far beyond the tunnel, boosting daily commutes, military logistics, port operations, tourism, and regional resilience for decades to come. From backup nightmares to a fortress of connectivity, the HRBT expansion is more than an infrastructure project. It's a regional lifeline, a model of engineering excellence, and a blueprint for future megaprojects around the world. Mary has carved the path. Now, systems will follow, bridges will rise, and communities will connect like never before. If this journey beneath the waves and through concrete spoke to your inner engineering enthusiast, make sure you subscribe and click the notification button.